The days pass by, life is happening, and the question what to draw sits in the back of our heads. If it's not a commission or a bigger project, we tend to neglect these creative goals, waiting for the right moment, but when we do find that time, sometimes the inspiration is gone and we are all alone in front of a white page. I've been there, and there are moments that I can't travel, I can't do anything exciting to inspire myself, or can I? If you're new to this channel, I'm Radost, a self-taught artist working with watercolors, and would love to share my art journey with you. And today, we are seeking for inspiration in stories. After long thinking, I've listened to my own advice and sought for inspiration in something familiar and loved, a good story. And trying to escape reality in one cold January day, I've remembered about something epic, brilliant, and that's none other but Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. The love for this story actually started from the movies of Peter Jackson, and wanting to know more, I discovered the books. As a romantic soul myself, recently one particular scene swirls around my brain a lot, a kissing scene between Aragorn and Arwen, and it's perfect for my next watercolor project. But to dive deeper into the source of inspiration, into the story within the story, I need a reread of the book. Books for me are comfort in sad times, an answer to unasked questions, a time machine, and of course a generator of ideas. And when I think of a place which collects these stories for generations to enjoy them, that has to be the library. I do believe that libraries held the answers to all my questions, and if not an answer, then at least a better structured question that will lead me to a better understanding of the world and of myself. Drawing, just like reading, is an intimate process that evokes different emotions and changes you in a way. For every outside person, it might be just a painting in a sketchbook, just an attempt to recreate something, a person, an object, or a mood. But for you, the artist, it's a wholesome, intense experience. For me, it's escapism from the mundane, and even working on my basic drawing skills brings me joy. Lord of the Rings is a masterpiece of the literature, and whatever I say, it won't be enough to describe it. And from all this complex story of epic battles, power and strong will, I chose to show you a slightly different aspect. I've picked these two characters to paint. Maybe it's my girly romanticizing of the world. Maybe I was searching for happily ever after, but in any case, I wanted to revive this story in my head. To revive the feeling from when I first watched the movies and read the books. Call it nostalgia for the past times. Call it love, because love is what connects these two here. Love and hope for a better world. If you're familiar with the saga, you know that they are different species, but driven together by stronger force, they can't escape their fate. And reading these pages of Return of the King, I was wondering, would I be able to capture even one piece of this complex fate in just one kiss? And do I have to? And here comes the magic of the creative process to help. When you dwell into it, nothing else really matters. You lose yourself into it, just like in a captivating story. The reference picture you've probably already guessed is from the movie Return of the King, as it's very dear to me. A scene so sweet and soft and definitely not spoiled with too much talking. And when it's about love, presented and described in art, I love that approach, where a lot is left to the imagination, a gesture, a smile, a sigh, and nothing more. Our world is somehow hyper-explicit these days, and I wish to see something less, something old school. Although the pencil sketch was probably the hardest part for me, choosing the right colors was also a difficult task. In moments like this, I try to work with limited palette, but still, it can be a little tricky to choose the right ones. For example, the gentle features and pale skin of Arwen might look easier to represent, but in reality, I had to be extremely careful of the amount of color I use because of the intensity of these paints. Discovering the possibilities of the opaque watercolors opened new artistic doors for me in a way. I've enjoyed bolder and brighter nuances, but in this painting I know I have to be gentler and precise. I'd like to catch the likeness but also the atmosphere of the scene, filled with surprise, hope, and mutual feelings. At some point, though, all the worries, would I be able to paint it accurately, just disappeared, and I went with the flow. My brain jumped from thought to thought, thinking about the characters, about love and kindness, and even about little Radost, admiring all that. Mentioning my little self, I wish I could show her this now, to tell her that it's not much but it's progress, and practice is responsible for that. To tell her not to push away these creative impulses, and not to hide them. Now I wonder, do some of you have these conversations with yourselves? That sounded strange, but I really wonder. Our character's first meeting is like a dream, or should I better phrase it, let out of an old folk song, sweet and enchanting. Even in the movies, you might catch that song early on in the Fellowship of the Ring. That's the brilliance of Tolkien's writing. The world he's built, with so many details, the languages, the maps, even the songs, singing for long-gone events. This song is repeating through Aragorn's experience, but you have the feeling that everything is new, extraordinary and unique, just like a new painting. It brings this freshness of a something unknown. I sense it with every new art project, even with simplest of sketches. I feel like I'm going on a journey to a known place, even if I draw familiar stuff. And it's kind of addictive, challenging yourself to catch a likeness, to capture a mood, sometimes your own. Alright, most of the time. And that's the beauty of it. Like in a good book where you think of the characters, if you can sense some of your beliefs, fears, and joys, the same happens with the painting, I think. And here we have fictional heroes embodying all these human emotions, all the decisions they made, the paths they had taken, everything led them to each other, like they are bounded by something powerful we can't even imagine. I wish to believe such things are possible in the real world. The place and time they live in is torn apart by wars and corrupted minds. For the power that one ring gives, creatures from the Middle Earth are capable of anything and everything, and this leads to destruction and chaos. In the middle of this chaos, we have friendship, gentleness, and love. Amazing device to give your readers hope and inspiration for artists like me. I've said earlier that I find many answers in books. Maybe this is one of them. There is hope, even for our world. And in that stream of thought, love, too. The research, the exploration of the story, the little tears here and there on the plot, made this more than a sketchbook page for me. It's a warm memory, a well-invested me time. I've proved to myself that I don't have to travel physically to get inspired. If I can travel to the Middle Earth and back to find my inspiration, then you can do it too. Thank you for watching and stay creative, my friends. Bye.